Disclaimer, these watches are not literally bulletproof, but they'll make you feel bulletproof. Yes. These are specifically insane watches because he is charging he's charging $100,000 for each of these watches.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a watch guy, but for comparison, you could get a decent Rolex watch for like 10 or 20 grand if you just want one for the name.
Yeah.
The idea that a Trump watch would ever be worth $100,000 is so ridiculous that the people buying it actually deserve to be fleeced by this huckster. Anyway, here's the ad.
My new Trump watches. We're doing quite a number with watches, and the quality to me is very important. The Trump Victory Tourbillon. This isn't just any watch, it's one of the best watches made. It's a tourbillon watch with almost 200 grams of gold and more than 100 real diamonds. That's a lot of diamonds. I love gold, I love diamonds, we all do. Only 147 of these extraordinary watches will ever exist in the world, and owning one puts you in a very exclusive club. I have watch number one, and I'm going to keep it. It's mine, and that's the way I want to have it. Each watch is numbered and extremely rare, a true collector's item, and it includes a personal letter signed by me. Get your Trump watch right now. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time.
Oh, also as pointed out by Rolling Stone, the website clarifies that Trump watches are not designed, manufactured, distributed, or sold by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of their respective affiliates or principals. Instead, they're being sold by The Best Watches on Earth, LLC.
A company that will not exist after these watches are sold.
It's right there in the name, The Best Watches on Earth.
Yeah.
Which is using the Trump name and likeness under a license agreement, like I said, which may be terminated or revoked according to its terms. The website adds that Trump watches are intended as collectible items for individual enjoyment only, not for investment purposes. Wink, wink.
So the LLC alone is a shield for the potential lawsuit because these things are clearly not worth $100,000.
This is junk.
What this is a way for anyone to step aside from campaign donation limits.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. All this shit is so people
can donate without
to the campaign without
running into legal issues.
Running afoul of the FEC.
Yes.
Yeah. But speaking of overpromising and underdelivering, MKBHD is now on the receiving end of some anger after he launched a new app that, much to the disappointment of his fan base, is nothing more than an expensive and annoying paid cell phone wallpaper aggregator.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, an app where you could purchase wallpapers and make sure that artists are paid directly for their work is a great idea.
It is.
But this launch was horrible, outrageously expensive, riddled with ads, appears to just be a reskinned version of apps that already exist, and leaves the doors wide open for art that's created using generative AI. Saying, in response to a question about the use of AI, these are all made by artists who can choose to involve AI or not in their creation process. It'll be up to you how much you value the human touch. I happen to value the human touch quite a bit, I'd say.
A lot. And this is especially upsetting because just last week I was curious to find a new wallpaper for my phone, and I was popping around on subreddits and stuff like that where you'd typically go looking for stuff like this, only to find that nearly every single post, and I'm not kidding, go look at like iPhone or Android wallpaper subreddits, it's crazy. Nearly every single post, including the most upvoted posts in recent history, they're all just a bunch of AI slop that people should be embarrassed to have on their phones. And I was thinking, yeah, you know what? I'd actually pay for an app that provides human artists income for creating wallpapers. But I'm afraid that this app ain't it. And with MKBHD publicly stating that he's fine with AI art on the platform, at least for me, that's poison from the start. Like, you'd have to put a huge warning on it that there was, and then people would just lie anyway. But yeah, it's crazy.
Now, for his part, he's saying that the criticism is helping with his decisions, but it might be too little, too late, at least as far as the app's concerned. We're sure that he won't suffer too greatly on his videos because he does produce incredible videos. It just seems like this was a weird collaboration that wasn't very well thought out. But with more on this, here's The Verge. Marcus Brownlee, the YouTuber known as MKBHD, has responded to backlash over the launch of his new wallpaper app called Panels. In a post on Tuesday, Brownlee says he's going to address users' concerns about pricing and excessive data disclosures. Brownlee revealed the new app as part of his iPhone 16 review on Monday, a video that's usually among his biggest of the year. But a flood of criticism about the Panels app quickly overshadowed comments about the new iPhone.
Panels is meant to offer access to a curated selection of stunning, full-resolution wallpapers from digital artists. But fans aren't happy about the subscription that comes along with it. It costs $49.99 per year or $11.99 per month for a Panels Plus subscription, which lets you download all the wallpapers in the app in high resolution. You can still access a more limited selection of wallpapers for free, but you can only download them in standard definition and have to watch 2 ads first. Users on the iOS version of Panels also pointed out some privacy concerns, as the app asks to track your activity across other websites and apps and also appears to use location data. Brownlee says these data disclosures are likely too broad and that we'd never actually ask for your location, internet history, etc. But the app is doing it, so
I don't like it. But moving on, we have another nearly final update on the seemingly never-ending 2020 election fraud cases involving numerous conservative outlets, pundits, state officials, the former president, and Mike Lindell. The latest news is that election technology company Smartmatic has now settled their case with Newsmax. Here's the New York Times with more on that. Smartmatic on Thursday settled its defamation lawsuit against Newsmax, the right-wing cable news channel that has spread false claims of election fraud, the company said. The details of the settlement, reached as the jury was being selected before the trial, were not immediately disclosed. Jury selection in the case began on Thursday morning in Wilmington, Delaware, and the trial had been expected to take up to 4 weeks.
Newsmax is pleased to announce it has resolved the litigation brought by Smartmatic through a confidential settlement, Newsmax said in a statement. A Smartmatic spokesperson said in a statement, "Lying to the American people has consequences. Smartmatic will not stop until the perpetrators are held accountable." The 12th hour settlement avoids the spectacle of a social law trial. It is not unusual for parties in defamation cases to reach a deal before a trial. In a similar case last year, Fox News settled a lawsuit brought by Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million just minutes before opening statements were to begin.
And while we're on the topic of shitty right-wing media outlets, the entire Fox News empire is going to be changing hands in the very near future. Everything that has been playing out feels lifted straight out of the HBO series Succession. Who will get the company? Will it be the eldest boy? Well, right now, the media company's future seems to be held up in one Reno, Nevada courtroom. Here's CNN. The fate of Rupert Murdoch's vast media empire, including Fox News, is now in the hands of a Reno probate commissioner who will decide whether the 93-year-old media mogul can change his succession plan to preserve the right-wing editorial bent of his influential outlet. Murdoch and his eldest children descended on a Reno courthouse to appear for evidentiary hearings in a secret trial to determine whether the 93-year-old can alter the family trust that he established decades ago, giving his 4 oldest children equal votes over the future of his conservative media empire after he died. Murdoch wants to amend the trust so that his eldest son and chosen successor, Lachlan, will remain in charge for decades to come. No, it is the eldest boy.
It is. But the 3 other Murdoch children, James, Elizabeth, and Prudence, oppose the change and have challenged it in court. According to the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, Murdoch fears his other 3 children could moderate the highly profitable and famously right-wing slant promoted by some of his outlets like Fox News, which he believes would diminish the company's value. The legal proceedings, which took place outside of public view, wrapped up on Tuesday. Now, the family members wait for a decision. They add that the high-stakes succession fight took place behind closed doors in Nevada, which offers one of the most private court settings for issues like family trust decisions, allowing parties and courts to lock the cases behind closed doors to such an extreme degree that their very existence is not even publicized on court dockets. In recent days, a coalition of news organizations that include CNN has petitioned the Nevada Supreme Court to unseal the case, arguing the succession will affect thousands of jobs, millions of worldwide media consumers, and the American political landscape.
I love the idea of being so committed to the evil that you have inflicted upon the world for decades, continuing on indefinitely after your death, to the point that you are willing to sacrifice the relationships with 3 out of your 4 children. Yeah, sure that is the case.
That's it's so insane. You're gonna be dead.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Very soon, probably. He is
93.
Old.
Crazy.
But he just got married.
That's right.
That's what keeps him alive.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for our video today. We, of course, have Weekly Weird News coming up for you in just a bit. But make sure you click the like button. Do it right now. Click that like button.
Come on, brother.
Leave a comment about anything we talked about today and talk about your favorite Eric Adams or your least favorite Eric Adams moment. And, of course, not sponsored, so if you want to, click the join button, click the thank button, do whatever you want to be involved. And, of course, watch our 2 recent videos over here. We got bad news to bad people and Elon Musk sued by, well, SpaceX sued by Cards Against Humanity. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
A new documentary just dropped on Vince McMahon. It's called Mr. McMahon. And even before it came out, like a day before it came out, Vince posted a statement on Twitter addressing it. His statement basically says he doesn't have any regrets, which is what everyone with regrets says. You stinkify your ass and then pretend it doesn't bother you and is actually just part of your master plan. He goes on to say that he thought he was going to be participating in an objective story about his life, but it turns out it was all a misrepresentation, misleading, using editing tricks and out-of-context footage, smoke and mirrors to distort viewer perception. It's all a bunch of hooey. They trapped you in a genjutsu to make you not like Vince McMahon. When I heard he made this statement, immediately trying to, like, cushion the blow of how bad this documentary must make him look, I went into this expecting a very scathing deep dive into a lot of the deplorable shit Vince McMahon is guilty of doing. There's a lot of allegations, there's a lot of accusations around Vince McMahon, but there's a lot of factual, irrefutable proof behind some terrible, horrible shit he is guilty of. And I thought this documentary was going to be getting into the weeds of all of it. Especially because not only did Vince McMahon put out that statement, he apparently even tried to purchase the documentary so it would never see the light of day. So he was like actively trying to bury it, according to some sources. So I was like, holy shit, this must blow the lid wide open here. I really thought this documentary was gonna fucking stone cold stunner Vince and finally show to the whole world just what a massive piece of shit he is. He has done so much illegal, deplorable, unforgivable trash throughout his career that it is shocking he is not behind bars. And I thought this documentary was going to aim to tell that side of Vince McMahon, to highlight all of those things. Go over the rape allegations, go over all of the sexual harassment, the sexual abuse, all kinds of horrible things Vince McMahon has been accused of over the years. I thought this was a documentary that was going to be dropping bombs and going really in depth on all of it with new information. But it doesn't. It's not that kind of documentary. It mentions them, it talks about them briefly, and lets Vince have his statement on his perspective with all the lawsuits that he's been engaged with over the decades. I really thought this documentary was focusing on that element. That's the impression that I got from all of it, but that's not at all what it is. This docuseries is mainly telling the story of the rise of the WWF and how it became the juggernaut that it is today with the WWE. It talks about Vince and being a ruthless businessman and everything he did to not only grow wrestling, but grow the WWF into what it is now. It's like a journey through wrestling, through the years, with Vince McMahon at the helm, leading the charge in everything he battled and overcame in order to grow the company. And it sprinkles in a lot of the awful shit like sexual abuse, like rape, in a couple of instances through some episodes, but it's never the focus. And I really thought it would be. Now, it's not bad by any means at all. Like, it's a fine documentary, but it's mainly for people that don't know anything about wrestling or Vince McMahon. Like, this is what I would consider like an introductory course to the lore of Vince McMahon and wrestling. Like, it gives you little tiddlywinks, little bits and pieces, appetizers of the controversy, the awful shit Vince has done, as well as controversy in wrestling and controversy when growing wrestling, this and that. But it's not really like a slam dunk piece on Vince McMahon. It's not really there challenging Vince McMahon on a bunch of things. They do occasionally challenge him on a couple of his statements in the documentary, but that's not what this docuseries is about. And in their defense, at least to a certain extent, this was filmed, like the interviews, most of them, and a lot of the information was filmed before the most recent set of allegations were made public. The Janelle Grant lawsuit. That's the one with all the extremely graphic detail and the sex trafficking information, the stuff with all the poopy, which became a big talking point with all the feces and the defecation and just all of the really depraved acts of Vince McMahon that were discussed in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. This took place before that. It is mentioned in the documentary at the beginning, as well as hinted at a little bit towards the end, and then the final episode has a little bit more on it, but it never really like fully dives into it or talks about it at length in the documentary. But it does just give you like the basis of it, as opposed to giving you a deep dive on it. And I guess I just went in there under the wrong pretense. Like, I do think people that know nothing about it will walk away like, damn, this guy really is a villain. And man, the story of wrestling is crazy. But to anyone that knows anything about wrestling and anything about Vince McMahon, there's nothing new here, except for the interviews. The interviews were pretty insightful. They don't offer new information, but hearing from someone like Vince McMahon directly is fascinating, because it's like hearing from somebody that was born without feeling. Like, this is a guy with no remorse and no ability, I believe, to even feel an emotion other than ambition and greed. Like, that is everything, every fiber in his fucking DNA, and nothing else. No love, no sympathy. He is like the devil. One of the best examples of this is when the documentary brings up the alleged rape of Rita Chatterton. Rita Chatterton was a female referee in the WWF that accused Vince McMahon of raping her, and it led to a lawsuit. And the interviewer during the documentary brings this up to Vince McMahon to get his perspective. He claims it was consensual. And then I wrote this next part down verbatim, because this shit was stunning. Like, this shit, a lightning bolt could have hit me and it wouldn't have been as shocking as what Vince McMahon said next. After claiming it was consensual, he said, had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off. I'll read that one more time for a little double take, a replay on the Jumbotron. Had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off. Yeah, that sounds like something an innocent man would say. Yeah, certainly a not guilty person would say something like that, right? When I tell you I was so surprised I almost squeaked out a fart from my butt cheeks, I'm not lying. I couldn't believe I just heard him say that. Oh, no, it was consensual. Had it been rape, the statute of limitations had worn off anyway. Oh, yeah, shit out of luck, pal. Yeah, sorry about that. No, rape's bad, though. It wasn't that. But, I mean, if it was, not much you can do about it. I went back and rewatched it just to make sure that I got the verbiage correct. It turns out I was a little off. What he said was, it was consensual, and actually, had it been rape, the statute of limitations had ran out. It's all kinds of crap like that people are digging up to try and have on you. Or what was it? To try and find something on you, I think is what it was. Like, that's the whole statement. That's the context. It's not like it's an out of context statement. And what preceded it was, he was talking about how, like, he's been accused of so many things like rape that, you know, he doesn't even like really pay it much of a mind anymore. So he just talks about this so nonchalantly. So even though the information there isn't new, that allegation of Vince McMahon raping Rita has been around for a long time. It is a new lens on it because now Vince weighs in, and wow, he expertly weighs in on it. Man, what a guy. But yeah, overall, there's no new info per se in it, but it is definitely interesting to hear the interviews and perspectives of, you know, some of the best wrestlers of all time and Vince McMahon himself directly talking about some of this shit. There's also a lot of like moments in the documentary where Vince McMahon says something and then the documentary will show you the exact opposite to highlight how Vince McMahon just can't stop fucking lying most of the time. Like, you can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth, like, at all. So Vince McMahon will blatantly lie about something, and the documentary then played like a clip that immediately contradicts what he said, which I appreciate, and that does like critique him and criticize him, challenge him to a certain extent. I just thought that was going to be most of the content of the documentary, and it's not. That's just a component of it. The bulk of the documentary is, again, on the rise of the WWF and the ascension into this multi-billion-dollar company and all the controversies that led to it and all the business decisions that led to it and all the people involved, not just Vince. So I do want to reiterate that it's not a bad documentary, but it's one I went into with the wrong perception of what I was going to be watching. Anyway, though, just kind of wanted to talk about that. Vince McMahon is a huge piece of shit. I do recommend at least watching this to get the basics on some of the horrible shit, not even the full story on all of his crimes and awful, horrible, unforgivable shit that he's done over the years, but it's at least a good Cliff Notes version of it. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya.
Sierra Green, also known as I Sierra the Furry or Mika Loves I Sierra, is a 27-year-old TikToker from South Carolina. Sierra would find success on the platform after posting a number of cringy TikToks, finding infamy much in the same way, already being involved in several controversies. It's a tale of love, lust, and loss, and the explanation behind each of these might surprise you. I Sierra got her start on the now defunct social media platform Musical.ly. She was posting on there for quite some time until the app was deleted, and found great success producing the same kind of content that she produces today. Videos of her performing various skits, talk about her lifestyle as a furry, and posting voiceovers. After Musical.ly was shut down, like everyone else, she would migrate to TikTok, once again finding general success, amassing almost 300,000 subscribers at her TikTok page's peak. Everything seemed to be going as well as it could. That is until I Sierra found herself in the first of many controversies. Sierra would be lip-syncing a song by 50 Cent and would mouth the N-word as it came up in the song. Her TikTok audience did not like this. They said that even mouthing the words to the song was not allowed, and Sierra was dumbfounded by this. She said that she was merely singing and didn't mean anything by it. The first time that she did it, people weren't too upset, but after doing it 2 more times, they were pretty angry. She would give half-hearted apologies on her TikTok page, neither owning what she had done or seeking true forgiveness for it. Sierra would do herself no favors when she was in yet another controversy soon after. This time it was for a number of comments that she had made about the LGBTQ community. She said that she did not support it, citing the Bible as her reasoning. This caused her even more hate than the previous controversy. People were absolutely livid at what she had said. A lot of her content was based around her identity as a furry, and homophobia seems to be a big no-no in their community. Needless to say, they were pretty pissed off about this, and it would lead to a lot of problems.
Do I look like I stink a little bit? Maybe. Do I actually stink? Separate question. None of your fucking business. Okay, so we're almost done with this video series. This is episode 4 out of 6. For context, it's a video from Rob's Media called Why I Hate Bread Tubers. Every time I post one of these videos, I immediately lose 200 subscribers. And then slowly over the first day, I gain back like, I don't know, 50 or 100. So we're cycling viewers out, and that's fun. I hope you get the sense that in this series, I'm trying to take the temperature down a couple notches and just sort of look at what this guy's saying and say, well, I don't know. What do we think about it? What do I think about it? Is he right? Is he wrong? I don't think it's centrist to say that like a lot of content is really like just, yo, it's not that deep, man. It's just some guy yapping on the internet just like me. Let's figure it out. Okay, here we go.
They do this because at the end of the day, breadtubers are only really looking to make their political team look good, not having nuanced or interesting discussions, which leads us to our next point. 4, they treat everything as team sports.
Let's go team. Editor, can we get a foam finger here? Let's go.
Let's go team.
A lot of the hypocrisies in this community come down to them only caring about what those on the right or center do. If someone on their side of the aisle does something bad or questionable, they either look the other way or try to downplay it.
Okay, before we get into his examples, wasn't one of the things he said in the same video that leftists go after other leftists too much and call them Nazis.
Even the occasional left-wing personalities get called Nazis from time to time.
People say a lot of things about leftists, but not infighting is not one of those things.
The most recent example of this is with the Ava Chris Tyson situation, with only a few breadtubers covering it. If you somehow don't know, Ava has been accused of grooming multiple minors on Discord and buying lolly art, among other things.
When has Ava Tyson ever been a leftist? At any point. She's famous for working for Mr. Beast. I think what Rob means when he says on their side of the aisle, he just means a trans person. It's that Ava Tyson's a trans person, and that automatically makes her a leftist or something.
While covering it on stream, Ethan Is Online decided to downplay it all by saying Ava was just posting some edgy tweets 7 years ago, and that people change. He gets pressed for seemingly defending Ava and having some level of bias.
I will say that I do have I have a recency bias. I have a bias for shit that has actually happened in the last 5 fucking years. What Chris was doing on the internet in 2017 is fucking gross, unacceptable. But she doesn't do that anymore. She doesn't do that. It's not acceptable. I agree with you.
Okay, first off, bro, this shit is beyond gross.
Ethan very clearly states that what was happening on the screen was gross. Is Rob trying to say that that's not strong enough of an adjective? And because of that, he's somehow downplaying the situation? Ethan, please get a thesaurus and use stronger language, or else you are condoning this behavior.
And second, these tweets go up to 2019, 5 years ago. Your recency bias should apply.
Why is 5 years the landmark for what's considered recent? What happens in those 2 years that changes the definition and makes it so that Ethan is now trying to protect this person, despite clearly denouncing what's going on in those screenshots?
Your recency bias should apply. God, he looks like a Courage the Cowardly Dog villain.
Okay. Jesus, dude. I'm trying to take this thing seriously, and then randomly he'll throw stuff in like that. What's up with that, man? You know, there's a cottage industry of videos out there dunking on Ethan Is Online, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in those videos that is fucked up, and it's just very normalized, so.
This guy is not unique. There's like 500 of this exact dude. They got the same politics, the same IQ, the same smugness, but you know what they've not got? They've not got his blood cholesterol percentage. They've not got his BMI score, and you can't take that away from him.
I think I'll probably do a separate video called In Defense of Ethan Is Online, because regardless of what you personally think of a guy, I feel like the amount of backlash he's received is very much not proportional to the crimes in question, at least from what I've seen, such as examples such as this example.
Another breadtuber who's been downplaying the Ava situation is Denims, and I eventually plan to talk about her takes on this in a feature video.
Hell yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm at the edge of my seat.
When called out on her hypocrisy, she reacts with hostility.
Oh, you guys are so cute. One day after the former Twitch staff tweet about Doc, but now your narrative changes when the pedo is trans. I think it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent, but we are. It's you guys that aren't consistent.
Oh my God, this hostility is messed up. She called them cute and politely responded to their message in her chat. This is fucked up.
I think buying a poster from this weird pedo Nazi artist is fucking creepy and strange. I also think a 33-year-old man trying to meet up with a minor is creepy and insane, but it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent on our positions.
She's referring to the Dr. Disrespect situation, which many compare this to for obvious reasons. Denims doesn't think this is as bad, despite there being way more evidence against Ava.
The amount of evidence for something doesn't, have a correlation with the severity of what that evidence shows. As long as there's evidence for both examples and they can be proven, then that's a totally separate question.
Basically, she spends 2 hours slowly reviewing the drama and cherry-picking the lousiest evidence to show to her audience.
Cherry-picking is a risky accusation to make because it's kind of hard to prove. In order to prove this, that she was cherry-picking, you would need to go through the stream and show examples where she deliberately ignored certain evidence in favor of less tangible evidence. She might have been doing that, but we have no idea because he just calls it cherry-picking, does not show how that happens, and because he's the one making that charge, I don't have to go through all of Denim's streams to try and debunk it because he's not showing it.
Tag two blokes who do fuck all.
Denims has flat out admitted before that she doesn't think covering drama from her neck of the woods is worth her time, saying this in the same stream where she defends Keffels.
My perspective is, I don't like to spend my time going after other people that are on the left, right? And that's just because I think my time is better spent making fun of people on the right. You guys can disagree, and I'm not saying that no one should ever do this, and I'm not saying that I think it's bad to do this. I'm saying I don't like to spend my time fighting with people who are saying that they're on the left.
It's actually open to say this, this just shows how brainwashed our audience is.
Brainwashed, yeah, I love that. This is my personal opinion, and you guys can disagree.
0-0, I've been brainwashed. 0-0.
All hail denims. All hail denims. To elaborate further on the reasons why people might be skeptical to immediately jump onto affirming allegations is that Ava is trans, and that, as we looked at before, trans people being painted as groomers and predators is like a huge part of the demonization campaign against them, especially on the internet and especially on Twitter. So when this story initially broke, and I'm pretty sure these reaction streams are from like right around the time it initially broke, people were skeptical. I myself was skeptical because we've seen this happen so many times before, where a trans person is wrongfully framed in this way to, you know, from a bigotry. If anti-trans bigotry is something you care about, then you will want to be more skeptical of the claims. And I don't think there's anything wrong with skepticism. I hope none of you do either. Speaking of skepticism, not only does that apply to YouTube drama allegations, it also applies to news and how we understand the world. And that's why I want to talk about today's sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is an online news platform that has a whole bunch of tools that can aid in the process of skepticism and critical thinking. To see how this works, I want to jump into a story that I think is relevant to the point I was just talking about. Laws restricting transgender rights linked to uptick in suicide attempts among trans youth. Then there's an article summary below that. A study published in Nature Human Behavior found that suicide attempts among transgender and non-binary youth increased by up to 72% after anti-trans legislation became law. The researchers noted that suicide attempts did not rise during legislative debates, but significantly increased once laws were enacted. The impact was especially notable among 13 to 17-year-olds, suggesting a larger effect on younger individuals targeted by these laws. Down below, you can see that there's 18 articles covering this story. 9 of them are from left-leaning sources, 4 from the center, and 0 right-wing outlets are covering it. It's possible that someone that subscribes to only right-leaning news outlets will never see this story and never know that this is happening, that laws they might support are killing kids. And if they knew that, if they've been exposed to these stories, they might, you would think, you'd hope, change their mind about supporting these laws. Ground News has its own feature for this kind of thing called Blind Spot, which gives you a list of stories that are barely or not at all being covered by either side of the US political spectrum. They have a bias distribution chart on the page, which gives you a kind of visual breakdown of the leaning of the sources. And I think all these features are really helpful. Ground News is subscriber funded, which means they have no ads on the platform, which is really important because ads promote clickbait and sensationalism. So go to ground.news/Noah to see through misleading media narratives and stay informed. You get 40% off unlimited access to the Vantage plan if you use my link. Now we go back to the video.
Noah Samson is also guilty of this.
No.
As he'd go out of his way to accuse Speak Before You Sleep of leading to Illumination's doxing. Yet only a month prior, he was called out for being publicly friends of a known doxer. This is Bad Empanada, another BroTuber who, just like Noah, hates Vosh and Xander Hall. Emp invited Noah to be part of his charity stream, with Noah making a now deleted community post. He'd get some flack for this and not attend, with Emp mentioning this on the stream.
And someone in chat asking about Noah. What about Noah Samson?
Noah said that he can't come on. I'm not sure if he can't come on because he got yelled at by Vosh pedophile fans or because he just actually can't come on. But it's one of those.
Damn.
The real reason is because he got called out by other leftists for supporting a known doxer, who sent targeted harassment campaigns against his critics.
Okay, so there's a few things to break down here. So first up, who is this Bad Empanada guy? Well, he's a video essayist. I do think he makes some of the best essays on the platform, especially the stuff about Palestine. He recently did a video debunking the history started on October 7th narrative that's commonly used by supporters of Israel to justify their ongoing genocide of Palestinians. To me, that's super important work, and if you're a fan of my channel, I would recommend that video and others. Is he a known doxer, though? As far as I know, that's not true. I've never seen evidence of that, but I could be wrong about that, so let's see what Rob has to substantiate his claim that Bad Empanada is a known doxer. First up is a tweet exchange. It's Drew Pablo says, Bad Empanada is now messaging me personally to threaten to post my home address and sue me for defamation. And then there's a quote tweet from Bad Empanada that says, I'm not going to post your home address or phone number, Drew, but maybe the people who keep sending them to me will. So the first thing is that there's no screenshot provided here for the DMs that this person Drew references of Bad Empanada supposedly threatening to post his information. That would be doxing, and those DMs would be a threat of doxing, but you can't make that claim just because this guy said that it happened.
One of the guys he doxed was someone he was trying to sue for alleging that he was a pedophile, which there is evidence for, though it's nothing super concrete.
There is evidence for it, but it's not super concrete. What does that mean? Is there evidence or not? This is absurd. This tweet says, if you know the real identity and details of this person, please DM me. This is for legal action. And there's a screenshot that says found. I don't know what's on that screenshot. It looks like maybe a photo. This person already displays their photos publicly. Nowhere in this screenshot does he dox anyone. It's not illegal to search for people's information for legal action. And unless you're posting it publicly, that's not doxing. Like, am I missing something here? If I am, let me know in the comments. But we need explicit proof of him saying that. Without it, Rob's kind of slandering him here. I don't know if that's the right word, but doxing is a crime. So he's accusing him of a crime without evidence, which is probably not good.
Yeah, Noah has never made a public statement regarding empanada. Though he left up a community post regarding unrelated criticism, these two are still following each other on Instagram, so this tells me that Noah doesn't give a shit about harassment or doxing, as long as someone he likes does it.
Now, I do care about harassment and doxing. I just know a lot of people on the internet don't like this guy and make false claims about him. And that's all that's happened in this video so far, is that you've alleged that he's doxed people, but there's nothing in these screenshots that shows that. The reason I backed out of the stream had nothing to do with this sort of backlash that he shows on the screen here, but it was because I reached out to some creators I respect that I know care about this issue. The perspective I got was that it's probably not worth the trouble because of how controversial this guy is online to go onto the stream, which I actually regret. I think I should have gone on the stream, and I think I made a mistake here because that was something that is truly important, one of the only real important and tangible things we can contribute to on here with our platforms. I could be wrong here, and if someone wants to provide something that shows that to be true, then yeah, I'll stop associating with this guy. But the fact that people were this quick to shit on me for joining that charity stream, kind of based on hearsay, based on like the existing ideas of a space of people like the Vosh community or whoever else who don't like this guy, is kind of ridiculous. You know, it just seems like, you know, if you're a leftist, you shouldn't be doing shit like that.
I mean, here's him initiating a targeted harassment campaign against Xander Hall.
Stop it. He'll probably complain about being clipped out of context, but I mean, the full video's there. It's a full video. You can watch the whole thing. Also, if you do go there, don't say anything mean, please. Just comment Squid Gang with 6G.
Yet he gives TVYS shit for doing the exact opposite and discouraging his audience from leaving mean comments on Ellie's video.
All right, so he's alleging here that this is me starting a targeted harassment campaign. Is that true? Well, I mean, kind of. Even though I started that clip by explicitly stating to not leave mean comments.
So if you do go there, don't say anything mean, please.
That is kind of nullified by the fact that I give them something to comment. Squid Gang with 6 Gs, which is, you know, it's kind of a stupid joke. But that obviously could encourage people to go do that video in the comments, even if they wouldn't have done so before. I'm not going to defend this clip. I shouldn't have said this, and I do apologize to Xander Hall if it caused him any stress. I think I started working on this video when I had around 5,000 subscribers. So I was new to the game, and I definitely did not fully grasp how stuff like this could be interpreted, and how including the Squid Game comment could lead to harassment. But it definitely could have. So again, I apologize.
Noah also ignored the fact that on multiple occasions, Elite sent her fans to mass report TVYS's video, despite it being pretty tame and not being considered cyberbullying under YouTube's strict rules. He even downplays it by saying TVYS is just a crybaby for even considering this could lead to deplatforming.
So there's a 30-minute section of that video where I go in detail on that specific example. I didn't ignore it. A lot of people did get the impression that I was excusing wrongful reporting in that section, and I could see how that might have happened. What I needed to do was state right at the beginning that even though flagging videos is sometimes a necessary thing, that doesn't mean it's okay to wrongfully flag videos. The debate over whether or not that report was wrongful wasn't settled until they determined that's the case. And it turns out YouTube ruled that the video wasn't cyberbullying. At the time, I genuinely didn't know, and I didn't go into that detail because I didn't think it was that relevant. And I guess, you know, given the reception, it definitely was. So, okay, so this one was kind of a bit more of a mess, but I don't know, I could be wrong about some of the stuff in that video, but I'm curious to know your thoughts. But yeah, I think that's probably it. Thanks for watching. If you're already outside, good job. If you want to go outside, good. Or if you want to go stay inside and hang out, do whatever you want. You know, it's your life.
What's up, everybody? This is the Axeman here, and today, Dr. Diddler has crawled out of the bog to make his triumphant return to streaming. Now, I'm assuming you're up to speed on the whole Dr. Disrespect controversy. If you're not, well, I have a video covering the whole thing. Suffice to say, Doc was accused of sending inappropriate texts to a minor. He later confirmed that he sent inappropriate texts to a minor. And at that point, after confessing, he later took the word minor out of the tweet and then put it back into the tweet, his written confession on Twitter. And so he's been on vacation for about a month. So he has had time to think about what he would tell his audience and present to them when he comes back to stream. Ladies and gentlemen, he did just that in his latest stream titled The Truth. Oh, finally, we're gonna be getting the messages or some kind of evidence presented, because we don't have any fucking evidence. We just have a confession and some accusations and testimony. But you know what? Fair's fair. We're gonna listen to what he has to say and give him a fair shot to defend himself, even though I don't think he really deserves it. So let's take a look at Doc's response to the allegations, this time in video format.
Yeah, just keep ignoring the issue and putting up this act. I'm so concerned and worried about everyone else's problems except mine, because I'm dealing with a deeper depression and I like to project.
Who could be projecting in this situation? I wonder who's projecting. Is it the random YouTube commenter who's curious about what Doc's been doing for the last month? If the allegations are true or not? Or is it the guy who's accused of inappropriately texting minors? Who could possibly be projecting any kind of insecurity about something? He starts off with the no you strategy. What, me? Address the highly controversial allegations? You want me to do that? You must be depressed. It's not too far off something that low tier God would say.
You serve no purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my dick daily.
It's not quite there, but not too far off.
A lot of people donating. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
A lot of fools. There's probably a lot of people who have fond memories of Dr. Disrespect, and they want to believe that he's innocent. Now, we can't forget that he confessed initially. So whatever he says in this video, he's got to recant that confession, right? In some way.
After what's transpired over the last couple months, am I excited to be back to this type of world?
What type of world, Doc? A world in which the general public views you as a groomer and a predator? That type of world?
1v5, huh? Can they reconnect or no?
My God, read the room.
A world where you admitted to that? What type of world do you think Dr. Disrespect is talking about? Could it be a world infested with woke, perhaps?
Up yours, woke moralists.
So September 25th is basically when we can reapply for partnership on YouTube.
Ooh, there's an interesting question. Should he be allowed back into the YouTube partner program? I don't have the answers. But if I was in Doc's position, you know what would really help right now? You know what really helped me when I got demonetized? Having the fucking receipts readily available. When YouTube came at me on Twitter and said, the reason that you were demonetized, I'm paraphrasing, the reason you were demonetized is you made direct or serious threats against YouTube staff. I quickly posted the things they were talking about, and everybody saw it. 99.9% of people saw that and yeah, he's clearly joking. Ackman is joking. This, he clearly doesn't mean it. If you're in this position, Doc, why haven't you done that? Why didn't you do that? Because maybe there's some truth to the allegations that he can't just outright disprove them.
So in the meantime, we'll do what we need to do. I enjoy my time here on YouTube. We've built a nice, strong community.
All down the drain. Because you just couldn't control yourself.
For almost 4 years, the public demanded to hear from the Doc regarding the Twitch suspension. I guess since you all missed the point with my personal statement.
It was our fault. It was our fault. We all misread that tweet incorrectly. Sorry. No, it was my fault. You're right. I take full responsibility for misinterpreting your tweet where you admitted to sending inappropriate messages to a minor. That's on me. That's on me, fellas.
You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules.
Can we talk about why those are the rules, though? Like, let's say you're in Dr. Disrespect's position. And again, I've been there when I was accused of something pretty terrible and my channel was demonetized. Obviously not on the same level as Doc, but I've been in that position where you're accused of something. I wanted people to know the truth. I wanted to show people, hey, what YouTube is saying I didn't actually do. For me to say this, I do not understand. If Dr. Disrespect is innocent, why he would settle for less? Why he would settle for keeping his innocence secret? Ask yourself that question. Why would he agree to this? In arbitration, both parties have to agree that it's going to remain private. Now you might say, oh, he didn't want to go through a lawsuit. Yeah, I get that. Sure. This is your Twitch channel. This is your brand. This is your personality. If people don't know the reason why you were banned, you have to have the foresight to know that's going to follow you wherever you go. So the sooner you quash the allegation, the sooner you can move on with your life. But that's not what Dodge has done.
My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement.
Again, why would you agree to that? If you have been so obviously wronged by Twitch and you can prove it, you'll get your money and your reputation back. So why settle for less? Ask yourself that question, people.
And again, I respected all the confidential obligations.
So you're still kind of playing the whole legally, I did everything right. Legally, while going through the legal process, I didn't break the law. It's a sort of like argument that's distance from the actual allegation, because being charged with a crime and committing a crime are in fact two different things. Just because someone was not charged with a criminal offense does not mean a criminal offense occurred. Okay? Remember that. Evidence can exist. It can implicate a certain person. Perhaps an investigation was fucked up and that evidence became inadmissible.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved. Leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally.
Again, notice the pattern. This was settled professionally. Not, I didn't do what I'm accused of. This was settled professionally. Legally, I was not charged or convicted with a crime, so I'm all good on the morality scale.
And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided you fucking rat.
Oh, Dad. He's a rat.
Well, I mean, for what? Cody, why?
Well, if you remember in his tweet, he said, fuck him and his boys. At the time, Nick Merckx was involved in a little controversy of his own. What do you think that part fuck him and his boys meant? Clearly, he had some beef with what Nick Merckx was saying at the time.
Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time?
Hell no, man. What the... Bro, take off the fucking wig and address this like a man, if you really are one. Holy shit. I'm not a psychologist, but I imagine that experience of him coming out of character, breaking character and saying, I cheated on my wife on a live stream in front of his audience, that experience has followed him ever since. That has been very traumatizing for him and his career, I imagine. But I think maybe this Dr. Disrespect character is a way to try and distance himself from the allegations and from his past, as opposed to taking the fucking wig off, not being a cartoon character when you're addressing such serious things. Just a thought.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of is?
Oh, no. I think, look, this is the court of public opinion. You are supposed to argue legal definitions in a court case. This is the court of public opinion. And if you have to resort to arguing against the legal definition of instead of saying, I didn't this person, it's not a good look.
Do you even know what the legal definition of is? I do.
You know, I'm something of a sexter myself.
I'll bet you know what the legal definition is. I'll bet you have really, really deep insight into that matter. You must have thought about it or researched it quite a bit. Not my personal area of expertise, but you do you.
And yeah, I used Twitch's whispers, but trust me, I wasn't anymore.
Objection! Inappropriate messages with the minor. You said you did that. You responded to an allegation that you the minor. And you said, yeah, I sent them inappropriate messages. But what conclusion are we to draw from these two things? And now he's saying he wasn't I just can't figure it out. Can't put two and two together. Doc is innocent, folks. He's innocent.
You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited it, just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, James.
Oh my God, he has brain damage. He has fucking brain damage. Are you a fucking idiot? I cannot even believe what he just said. By the way, this is like a pre-written statement. Like, you guys can obviously tell it. I think this has been rehearsed and written down. Is this part of that masterful gambit? I included the word minor in my written confession just to expose the corrupt journalists who had already reported that I had a minor in articles prior to me posting my confession. But no, I did that intentionally, just to fool you, just to trick you. The idea that Doc is some kind of master manipulator pulling a bait and switch is more than just illogical, it's a shit PR strategy. And in my opinion, good old Occam's razor, the simplest answer is usually the correct one. Doc posted that initial confession tweet, realized he fucked up, tried to edit the word minor out, realized he fucked up again, put it back in, and this is all just damage control. You can't reverse that, dude. You played your hand and you were bluffing, okay? You lost the poker game.
When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages?
Oh my God. Please don't tell. I mean, people are actually believing this. This is insane. I know it's like he's exuding this air of confidence, this aroma of confidence, but actually listen to what he's saying, and more importantly, what he's not saying. Did you consider this person may have been over the legal age of consent? May have. Not this person was over 18. They may have been. Don't you find it a little suspicious that he keeps tap dancing around what the age of the person actually was? Like, you're clearly not bound by the legal gag order anymore. How old was this person? Go on, say. How old was this person, Bob? He won't tell us because he knows it doesn't look good for him. Also, keep in mind he's arguing about the age of consent in like a particular state, which could mean it's 16 or 17. So basically, whoever this person was, we can say for certainty they were under the age of 18. And if you are 35, married, and have a child, you ain't got no fucking business messaging someone inappropriately that's under that age. You don't have any business doing that to someone your age. You're fucking married, bro. Why are we sitting here trying to justify this, bro?
Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met.
That stutter. A little suspicious to stutter on never. We never met.
Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well.
Okay, so just to keep track, first it was our fault for misinterpreting his message. Then it was the journalists who reported the story and talked to Twitch staff. It was the former Twitch employee's fault, Cody Connors, and also other staff at Twitch. So 4 people are at fault, none of them Dr. Disrespect. Got it.
I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack.
It was the deep state. I knew it was the deep state the whole time. It's all just been a conspiracy, man. All of them. Especially the tweet confessing. Your account was hacked. Just use the Quantum TV defense. Your accounts were hacked. You didn't actually say those things, bro.
These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now, don't you think, champs?
Fake news? Fake news?
Without any real journalism and real research happening. If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask.
I think your fans would expect you, if you had been wrongfully banned and your contract terminated without cause, for you to be truthful about that. Why would you not want the entire world to see how innocent you are? But you settled, you arbitrated it. Both parties wanted to keep it private, and that's what's important to remember. Both parties wanted to cover this up.
If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not.
Do you have internal documents? I mean, you went through the court case. I mean, if you're not bound by the gag order, surely you can share some of this evidence that you're saying exists. You guys realize that all we have to go on are the accusations and the previous confession, okay? So until something else is provided beyond that, I think we're just mostly stuck at square one. I at least will say that Twitch probably fucked up the investigation to some extent. How they did that, I have no idea. All it seems like is that Twitch did not have altruistic reasons themselves for wanting to keep this private as well. Who knows, though?
And two, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM.
Well, thank God. Thank goodness. It didn't constitute abuse material. You notice how he keeps referencing like legal terms, right? I didn't do anything legally wrong, but I'm still creepy and I still would have a teenager if I could have gotten away with it while I'm 35.
I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images.
Why didn't you say that right from the get-go?
I even used the word inappropriate purposely.
See, he can't say, oh yeah, I fucked up. I didn't mean to put that in there because that makes him look like an idiot. So he has to proceed with this facade of confidence. I did that intentionally. All part of my master gambit, my ultimate plan.
And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles.
Then sue for defamation. If they're wrong, sue for defamation. Fucking do it. Do it. This is your entire reputation. You got banned from Twitch. You're not monetized on YouTube. This is having a serious effect on your career, your ability to make money, and your public image. Sue for defamation. Take him to court. Clean him out. But he won't, really.
I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context.
Hold on. Mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes. This is a question for anyone, let's say 25 and older, watching this video. Would you guys ever describe an interaction you had with a minor as mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes? Have you ever used those 5 words in order to describe any conversation you've ever had with another real human being? Didn't think so. Didn't think so.
How would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
So I will admit it's entirely possible that there was some greater conspiracy at Twitch to get rid of Doc, and he had messages that somebody saw and was like, oh, I could spin this a certain way. And that's exactly what they did. But if that's what they did, again, it falls back on why did you settle to keep all that private? Wouldn't you want the public to know that there was a conspiracy against you to get you off of Twitch and that you were wrongfully banned, your career and progress completely halted, and a stamp of shame forever labeled on you? Wouldn't you want to clear all that up if they were in the wrong?
And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here.
Guys, the victim didn't come forward, so who knows if she even exists? Who knows how old this person might have been? I do. I know, but I'm not gonna tell you.
We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were legal!
So does Twitch only ban people who commit crimes? Like a felony or misdemeanor? But it has to be legally defined as a crime. They should be able to be charged with a crime. That's the bar that Twitch has for permanently banning people?
No.
I think what's probably most close to the truth is that your messages were very inappropriate, displayed a clear intent that people at Twitch saw as a clear intent, but there was not enough to charge him with a crime, right? You think about all the To Catch a Predator episodes, think of all of the chat logs they need to have, and then they need the guy to show up. If the guy doesn't show up, they can't arrest him. Sending inappropriate messages to a minor and talking about plans to meet up at Twitch shows an intent, but it might not be enough to file criminal charges. There's a big difference. It's enough for the court of public opinion to say, wow, that's grooming behavior.
Oh, he's coming back from Epstein Island.
But it's not enough for the courts to convict. And that's the defense he's going with. Legally, I was cleared of any wrongdoing.
On June 21st, 2020, my ex-Twitch partner manager learned that I exchanged whispers with the Twitch user. And I say ex-partner manager because for years, this guy didn't do anything.
Okay, so now we have a fifth person, his partner manager. So we've got 5 separate entities who are at fault, conspiring against Doc. So the next part of his response basically details how this partner manager didn't do anything to help him and conspired against him to get him removed from the platform.
So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. And just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence?
Did you get a new partner manager? If so, why did he wait a few months to try to get you banned?
The Twitch user tells the ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
See what he left out there? The inappropriate messages. Doesn't deny that. Again, you have to listen to what he doesn't say, what he doesn't outright deny.
On June 24th, 2020, Twitch's special operations team receives and reviews the user's report. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any further escalation to Twitch's law enforcement response team.
Man, what you're saying right now would be a lot more compelling if you put like a screenshot of said conversation. I mean, like I said, you were in this court case. Did you not have access to those files? The same as Twitch? It would be really compelling stuff, I tell you what.
He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do? He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team, remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team.
Again, going down the legal defense route.
So a day later, the LER analyst pulls the entirety of the whisper messages and begins discussing them with his director of the LER team. Let me just remind you, I went through a multi-year, big-time arbitration, okay? You know, you discover a lot of stuff.
Share it! Share it! For the love of God!
I don't know. Do I need to watch the rest of this? How much longer does this go on for? Jesus Christ.
Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time. The LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context to this director. Within less than 1 hour, this LER analyst and his director have made the decision to suspend me from Twitch.
So if I were to hazard a guess, it would seem that this is the crux of how it was mishandled, is that the person who was in charge of the decision saw these messages, determined they were really, really bad, that action needed to be taken immediately, and maybe they didn't go through the proper channels. But that the messages are bad enough that Doc does not want them to be public and does not want to reveal the age of the person he was talking to or any other specific details. So it would seem Doc did something wrong and Twitch fucked up their handling of it.
Twitch submits a report to NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what? As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report.
Was a child missing, Doc? Did the person you were talking to go missing?
As far as I know, they didn't escalate Twitch's report to law enforcement.
You think this is funny? In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
The same people that made this decision at Twitch admit internally that the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way.
If it wasn't illegal, it doesn't mean it was okay. It doesn't mean you weren't trying to hook up with someone under the age of 18 while you were married and had a kid.
Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
Doesn't change the fact that you talked about meeting up with this person, even if you didn't. Sounds like what you did is not criminally prosecutable, if that's a word, but it is bad enough that Twitch saw what you were doing and saying and said, yeah, he's got to go. We know what this is.
which makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
So yeah, he's just gonna argue the fucking legal aspect of it, and I think we don't need to listen to any more of this. You can listen to the rest of his response if you want to. I'm just gonna be repeating myself endlessly. Bottom line, where we're at is pretty much still where we were before, although now we have a slightly better idea of maybe what Twitch's full role in all of this was. Again, Doc provides no evidence outside of testimony. What he's saying has obviously been well rehearsed, maybe run through a lawyer. Maybe this is what happened or was determined in the case, but we don't know because they took it to arbitration. And I think that's pretty telling. Doc's old friends still aren't really accepting him at all.
Late 30s, you got a kid, a wife, and you're doing stuff like that, man. Am I gonna associate myself with the guy again? No.
Like I said, he already posted a confession, fucked up, played his hand, had a 2-7 offsuit. Yep, sorry, bud, you bluffed, and we called you on it. So nothing's really changed. It remains to be seen how YouTube will handle this situation, or what, if any, evidence is going to come out after this. Like, hey, maybe we'll see court documents. Doubt it. Best case scenario, Dr. Disrespect was only trying or considering hooking up with the 16 or 17-year-old. That's the best case scenario, okay? But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content.
You know what? This video wasn't that awesome.
All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.
YouTube out for doing. Hey guys, Dequa here, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. We're back here on some more XDefiant. So we're now a couple of days into season 2 here. I've been working on just the mastery grind. It's quite a grind. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews and mixed opinions on it, but overall I'm actually pretty happy with the pyroclastic grind. I still got a long way to go though. It says I have 6 out of 23, which some weapons are just not counting for some reason. You can see that I have 4 ARs done. I got my M16, MDR, the Laveau, and the ACR. I have my 4 SMGs done. I have my 3 shotguns. I got 1 LMG. I'm working on the M60. I'm gonna skip the RPK and probably just go straight to the L86 here, just because it's the newer weapon and I'll need to do another LMG anyways. I saw both my marksmen and all my snipers, but if I go to my secondaries, you can see that I have every single secondary done. So clearly it's not tracking correctly right now for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure what's bugged, what weapons are correctly tracking, what ones aren't. Doesn't really matter right now because I'm not close enough to having it done anyways. I still got a long way to go. Making a little bit more progress on the battle pass. I'm at tier 64. I'm actually zooming through this battle pass. I've not been like grinding in an ungodly amount, but I'll probably have this battle pass done by the end of next week, which overall is kind of more or less what I actually wanted to talk about in today's video. And that being just kind of like an overall review, my opinions, my thoughts about season 2. Is it good? Is it bad? What I like, what I don't like. I did actually record a video like this already this morning, but it turned into a little bit of just like a complaining, crying session. And even though there's a lot of things that XDefiant has done wrong, there's a lot of problems, a lot of issues, I still think the game is a lot of fun, and I don't want to just sit here and bash XDefiant for like 10 minutes straight. Now that being said, the other day when I recorded my first impressions of season 2, I kind of gave it a 7 out of 10 IGN review. But if I had to be honest, like brutally honest, not trying to be biased or shit on the game more than I need to, I think season 2 of XDefiant currently in its current state, because keeping in mind apparently we're getting like a mid-season update which might add some events, some challenges, who knows, right? But in its current state, season 2 for me personally is like a 5-6 out of 10. But that's not me saying it's bad. My main reason for it being kind of lower, I guess, that a lot of people have been rating it is simply due to the fact that, one, we just didn't really get that much stuff added for it being an entirely brand new season. Yes, we got a faction. The faction's actually pretty cool. I think they're actually kind of on the weaker side of things, which was one of my main concerns. Like initially when I first saw the reveal, is I thought they were going to be OP. But the ultimate and the grenade launcher seem to be on the weaker side of things. The sentry turret I think is in a pretty good spot though. It's pretty good. But the new faction, we got 3 new weapons, we got 3 new maps. Mind you, we only get to actually play on one of them right now. And I know a lot of people do like the new map. It's bright, it's colorful. Me personally, yeah, once again, I'm not trying to be negative, but I think it's like a B tier map. It's okay. It's kind of on the bigger side of things, so sometimes you can go on spurts where you just don't see people. And That right there is another problem. The trading in this game has gone absolutely absurd. It's so crazy. Like every other death, I feel like I'm trading. I trade probably 3 to 5 times a match, if not more. Depends on the weapon. Some weapons it's a little more common. Snipers, shotguns, the M16. Trading on those type of weapons is a little bit more common than with like an SMG or an LMG or whatnot. But still, that kind of brings me into the biggest issue that I'm still having with XDefiant, and that's just the netcode. And I know it's like a beat horse at this point. Everybody knows the netcode's not great. They're trying to work on it. They're trying to fix it. I've also seen some people who swear up and down that the netcode's great. It's perfect. It's fine. They have no problems. I don't understand how. I don't know what game they're playing. But XDefiant's netcode, it is pretty bad. It's rough. I do think it's worse than it was in season 1. I think whatever change they did with the, the trading and all that, whatever change that they added, it might be a better change in the long run. Dude, the sentry turrets have so much health. I just meleeed that thing like 4 times. But it might be a better change in the long run. But because they're only fixing like half of the issues right now, and then apparently the other half are going to get fixed with the mid-season update, it just makes it seem like it's not that. It almost feels worse. Like they should have just not touched anything until they were ready to fix everything. Like right now, the trading feels really bad, but maybe when the netcode's improved, the trading won't be that bad. And, the registering hit markers and whatnot, like maybe it will be better once the netcode's actually fixed. You can't make this up. Like I said, you just trade so often. It's like so consistent. But I'm not trying to sit here and complain about the netcode for too long because it's a known issue. Plus, Mark Rubin did go ahead and address that they are planning to fix some stuff with the mid-season update. It just wasn't ready for season 2. So that aside, what else did we get? We got the new bomb mode, which is actually really good. I think that's probably the biggest highlight of the season between that and the mastery camo, which I know not everybody's happy with the mastery grind. Some people think it's too much, it's too long, it's too lengthy, it's too grindy. I personally prefer it that way, just because if they made it where it was just like get another 100 levels on any weapon, you instantly unlock it, it would have been too easy where it doesn't even feel rewarding. If you're somebody who like really casually plays and you don't really play that much, yeah, it's nicer for people like you. But for people like me, the other hard grinders out there who play, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, it's nice to have something that you can actually work towards and progress with, and also have it feel rewarding rather than it be something that's easily achievable and that everybody can get. There's no flex, there's no reward in having something if everybody can easily achieve it. Even Prisma, for example, Prisma is a cool camo, but it's not hard to get Prisma. Even the casual players who barely play at least have probably 1 gun Prisma already. They probably only have 1, but still they have that 1 weapon Prisma, making the Prisma camo not really all that exciting in my opinion. So I really like what they did with the Pyrocaustic, whatever it is. I like what they did with the grind. I think the camo looks good. The new bomb S&D mode is really fun. I quite enjoy it. Yeah, that's season 2. Like everything I listed is season 2, which is kind of my main concern, is that if this mid-season update that they drop isn't spectacular, it doesn't come with events, challenges, doesn't fix the netcode, then season 2 is going to be kind of lackluster in similar ways that season 1 was kind of lackluster, where there are people who did enjoy the season 1 launch. They enjoyed the season 1 maps and everything, but it got old really quick. And I could see season 2 kind of going down that same route where, yeah, we have 1 new faction and 1 new map right now and a couple new weapons, but it's just, it doesn't feel new. It already feels kind of samey. I played with the new faction for the first day and I'm over it. Like they were cool, they were fun, but it's not changing the game for me. I'd still rather just play Libertad or Phantoms. So overall, I'm still playing the same as I was in season 1. It's nothing's really changed for me is what I'm getting at. So, maybe TikTok brain rot. What do I need? Brand new content always being thrown at me every other week. I don't know, but I know people hate the comparison to other titles, but if you look at Call of Duty, for example, they kept me interested, not only with just every week there was something new to grind for and new to play for in terms of like the weekly challenges. They also had consistent events going on throughout the season. It just feels like there's always something to do in COD, where XDefiant, if you're not going for the mastery camo, there's not really a whole lot for you to really go for. And I think that combined with the fact of things like, the netcode not being that great, I'm really not trying to beat that horse too much, but it is a problem and probably one of the most noticeable problems. It just makes it so season 2 really doesn't feel that special. Something else I'll say is just like a minor thing, but I kind of wish Arena and Rockefeller didn't appear in the map voting so often. I swear to God, I'm playing Arena or Rockefeller 1 out of every 3 matches, if not 2 out of 3. I don't know if they just increased the rate at which those maps appear or what, because I've not played Emporium, I've not played really Liberty, I've not played like half of the other maps in the game because it seems like I'm just playing freaking Arena over and over. Arena Rockefeller. Anyway, side rant, completely off topic, not related to season 2. But overall, I don't think season 2 is bad. I'm not disappointed with season 2, mostly because I didn't get my hopes up in the first place. I'm not trying to sound negative, but this is kind of more or less what I thought season 2 would be. And I don't think it's bad. I'm happy with what we got. Would I've liked to see more? Sure. This trading shit is absolutely annoying. The main thing I'll say is I also think XDefiant didn't expect season 2 to be that crazy. And the only reason I say that is because we don't see anyone that's getting like a sponsored stream. I've not seen any advertisement for season 2 yet. Like, I just think that they expected season 2 to kind of be like an autopilot season, and I think it's going to be season 3 and season 4 where they really start to step their stuff up. I mean, we know season 3 we're going to be getting the prestige system. Season 4 we're getting the revamp to the mastery camo. Obviously, we're going to have like random updates, netcode improvements, and all that sprinkled in between. I think season 2 is a good season for people who are already playing XDefiant, who already grind XDefiant, who even if season 2 never happened, we're still going to be playing XDefiant. But I don't think season 2 is going to bring new players in. I don't think season 2 is a good time for new players to hop in. And overall, I think season 2 is just it's okay. It's good. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's just it's a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's good. Now there were a lot of other changes that were added with season 2 that aren't like season 2 specific. For example, we got the wallbang icon. We got spider bots are now able to be meleeed pretty consistently. EMPs can be thrown quicker. Like overall, there was a few quality of life things sprinkled in that I think were also kind of nice. The real star for season 2 though is the bomb S&D mode. Everything else is pretty mid. I'm looking forward to season 3 and season 4 more so than season 2 here. But yeah, I mean, I think I said pretty much everything I want to say. I'm not trying to like roundabout and beat the same horse. I'm not trying to be overly negative with XDefiant either. I'm not trying to shit on it. I think it's a fun time. I'm still playing the game. I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a review and like speak my opinion on it a little bit, just because I consistently have people asking me, what do I think of season 2? And now that I've played it quite a few times, I've checked out all the new stuff that it's got to offer. You know, I think I got a fair assessment of how I feel. And yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's good. You know, maybe it's kind of bad depending on how you look at it. But if somebody who's already played XDefiant and you've been enjoying XDefiant is good. If you're a new player looking to get into XDefiant, it's kind of bad. That's the best way I can put it. And dude, this trading thing is so obnoxious. I hope they patch it. I hope they hotfix it or something. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Just a little bit more of a ranty type of video. I don't usually do this type of stuff, but just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a review, kind of my opinion, my thought on season 2 so far, what I like, what I don't like. With that being said, let me know down in the comments, do you guys agree? Do you disagree? And yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, like, sub, and I'll see you fudging later. Deuces.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's video, I'm going to be coming at you guys with a very unpopular opinion. I might have saw maybe a handful of people that might agree with me, but I'm 99.9% positive there's probably going to be a ton of people in the comment section who think that this is just an absolutely idiotic idea. But I still want to go ahead and share my opinion on this take and, you know, explain to you guys why I believe that this is a good thing for XDefiant. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep into the topic of today's video, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time, and we are literally so close to the 50,000 subscriber mark. I can literally taste it. Like I said, I think a month after BO6 launch, we'll be able to hit that. But still, we've been just climbing and climbing and climbing every day that goes by. So I appreciate all the support, all the love. And again, if you guys are interested in any content revolving around XDefiant or COD, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell. And last but not least, I will be live today over on Twitch starting at around 12 p.m. Eastern time, grinding out a little bit more XDefiant. If you guys want to see my impressions of season 2 live and in action, by all means tune on in. I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in today's topic, I wanted to go ahead and discuss with you guys the new camo unlock in XDefiant that you have to wait until level 500 to accomplish. Now, again, this is a very unpopular opinion and a controversial topic when it comes to XDefiant right now. Now, I will say the camo itself definitely needs a buff. You know, to grind up to 500 on a weapon, the camo just doesn't look as flashy, you know, as I expected it to be. It kind of looks like obsidian mixed with a little something, you know, a little oomph added to obsidian, which is nothing wrong with that. But I just think that the blue maybe should be a bit more bright. Maybe the color should be pulsating more. Just something to make it actually flash, you know, get in your face saying, yeah, this is worth grinding the weapon to level 500. But again, that's not what I'm really, you know, talking about in today's video. That could be adjusted, that could be fixed. The developers at any time could probably go in and make it look a bit more brighter or make it, you know, move faster, something like anything to make it more visually appealing. That could be resolved. What I want to discuss with you guys is how you unlock that camo. You don't simply just grind up to level 500 easily. No, there are other requirements needed so you can obtain that weapon. Now, yes, if if you hop on right now and you have a gun level 400 and you start using it, you will obtain levels. Like for example, you know, my ACR is a higher level than 400. My P90 is a higher level than 400. My M4 is a higher level. You know, I have guns that are higher. But once I reach 500, I don't unlock anything. And the reason you don't unlock anything is, like I just said, there's more requirements. As you can see right here from Inks over on Twitter, requirements, level 400 on 4 ARs, 4 SMGs, 3 shotguns, 3 LMGs, 2 marksmans, 2 snipers, and 5 secondaries. Then level 500 on the weapon you're going for. And again, you can unlock 500 early, you just won't be able to use the camo until you do complete level 400 on all the weapons I just listed. Now, again, the community is up in arms right now. And I get it, you know, especially if you've been grinding the game to level 400 on multiple different weapons, the grind has been pretty simple. But guys, tell me if I'm crazy right now, but if I remember correctly, over half the people who ditched this game said the grind was way too simple. They said grinding for weapons was basic, and just working on simply weapon levels is not worthy enough. You don't feel any reward for maxing out a weapon because there's nothing really anything extra. From what I see here, it's just a nice little in-between. An additional challenge to make it harder to get a new camo, but at the same time, they're not really making it, you know, too annoying to grind for, right? One of the charms of the XDefiant weapon camo grind, in my opinion, as a very casual individual, is the fact that I don't have to go for crazy, you know, challenges. Things like, you know, long shots or mounted kill, you know, all of that stuff, crouch kills. God, it's a reason why I never even bothered going for any of these camos on COD. And again, to each their own. I know people really enjoy that challenge, but for me personally, I didn't really like it. Coming over to XDefiant, grinding to level 400 was fun for me. I could use whatever gun I wanted. I could enjoy the game. I could play it the way I wanted to play. I didn't have to force my playstyle, you know, in any other fashion to ruin the experience for my teammates, you know, by pulling myself away from the objectives to be stupid on the outskirts to accomplish a challenge. No, I can play the game and I can level up my weapon to get a full camo for it at the same exact time. I love that simplicity. But with this new, you know, version, they are keeping that simplicity because you don't have to do any challenges realistically. You don't have to do crouch kills. You don't have to do mounting. You don't have to do any of that stuff. No, you just obviously level up the weapons. But in order to unlock it, now you have to work through multiple different weapons. And again, a lot of people are angry right now because it is going to be a grind. Let's be real here. It's going to take time. But isn't that, once again, what people were asking for? Everybody said the game was too easy. There was nothing to work towards, nothing that felt accomplishing. Me, personally, I would argue that this is the perfect, you know, thing to add a challenge to the community, to make them step out of their comfort zone and unlock more camos for different guns to build up for a mastery camo. Of course, if this is going to be considered the mastery camo. Now, if they're going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding camos down the road, it will be kind of odd, right, that they're, you know, handling it this way. But if this is indeed the final camo that they're planning, I don't see anything wrong with this. I really don't, you know? I don't think people should expect to finish the camo grind in less than a week like they do in Call of Duty, where even in Call of Duty, I swear that's why people get so angry with the camo grind, because they don't take their time with it. I've noticed that the majority of people who are okay and happy with COD are the ones who don't force themselves through the grind like that. The ones who need to take a very long break and they need to relax and need to, you know, take months away from Call of Duty are the ones who try to bang out the camo grind in like a week or two. It's stressful. I can imagine it's massively stressful. And the same thing will happen here if you treat this grind the same. The whole point of this is that, once again, XDefiant is supposed to be a game that lasts for years. You don't want a camo grind that's going to be finished in 5 seconds. And to get the mastery camo, this is going to make you step out of your comfort zone. Just like how Call of Duty makes you step out of your comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Call of Duty makes you use different weapons, makes you step out of your comfort, you know, makes you do different things. And although, like I said, I don't really care for the camo grinding COD, I will acknowledge that that is the way to handle it. You want to make people go and put in work, because then it actually looks good. You know, it's rewarding. One, it's rewarding to unlock it, and two, when people actually see the camo, they're like, wow, you know, that actually took a little bit more effort instead of, wow, you know, this guy just only uses the ACR. That's realistically all you see. When you see someone with a level 400 gun in XDefiant right now, you don't really think, wow, that guy suffered to get that camo. No, you think, wow, that guy used the meta since day one, and they got 400 on it instantly. You know what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying here? Like, visually, there's no appeal to that. It's just, wow, that guy was using one gun and one gun only, compared to, wow, when he suffered. He used guns he wasn't comfortable with. He used stuff that he sucks with. That individual went through the pain and suffering of going through, some of the shotties or the LMGs, marksman rifles, snipers, all the secondaries, that person grinded it out. And although it's not as much as a challenge as, doing something like, finding a bunch of long shots and all that garbage, but again, I prefer it the way XDefiant already has it. It allows players to still play OBJ, play with their team, and be useful, right? All they gotta use is just a different weapon that they're not comfortable with. But they're not gonna be pulled out of the experience with strange challenges. All it requires you to do is level up weapons to 400. A time-consuming task, but can it be done? Yes. And will it be a challenge? Yes. But again, I ask you the question, isn't that a good thing? Doesn't this community want that type of challenge? And again, when you see someone with this max camo on their weapon, you're not going to look at them and say, okay, they only use the ACR. If I see this new camo on the ACR, I'm not going to say, that person just literally only touches that gun. That's what I think of when I see the level 400, because that's all you got to do. When I see this, I'm going to be like, wow, they might be using the ACR, but I don't care. Use whatever you want. You literally suffered through everything in the game. You have proven that you are capable of mastering all the types of classes. So, when I see that camo, it's more of an impact compared to seeing 400. But again, that impact wouldn't be there if they didn't have these actual challenges here. If they just allowed anybody to, if I was able to just use the ACR and the ACR only to get to level 500 after it's already 400, and I get the new camo after just simply doing 100 more levels, which I could easily probably knock out in a day or two during double XP, with also having, a double XP booster on as well. That's easy. That's easy. Are you kidding me? I could do that with my eyes closed, my hands tied behind my back. When I see that, it would mean nothing. It would mean nothing. But now, I think it will mean something. But again, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying this is how it should be. I'm not saying this is how it should not be. Just like everybody else here, we all have opinions, and I just want you guys to go ahead and share them down below. I'm very curious because I see all over social media, whether it's Reddit, the comments, everywhere, that this system is really bad, and they want it reverted back to the system of being able to just simply take whatever gun you want and just level it up to 500, and that's it. But I do want to bring the counter argument of, again, doesn't this community want that challenge? I saw time and time and time again people ditching this game, saying it's horrible because the grinds are way too simple. They're like, I feel like this is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted, while still having that simple aspect, that casual aspect, the aspect that anybody can do this, It's not going to be too disgusting looking to a super casual. Having to do all these other insane challenges. All you got to do is just use the weapon and level it up, So as a casual, I feel like this is going to be a lot more of an appealing camo grind for a lot of people out there. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, do me a massive favor. Go down in the comment section, leave your opinions down below. I love reading what you guys got to say about this, and I'm curious, what everybody thinks. Do you guys really want it to be, kind of an easier grind where you just simply level up to 500? Or do you like the actual challenge that this is going to present for a true mastery camo? Of course, if it comes down to them actually buffing up the camo to make it look like a worthy mastery camo. But as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I will be live today over on Twitch at 12 p.m. Eastern time. You guys find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.